Welcome back to the year 1984 as we continue our look at the Transformers toy line by Hasbro. Previously, we learned of Hasbro's collaboration with Takara to bring the Microchange and Diaclone toy lines to the United States under the name Transformers. We started with the Autobot Windcharger, and today we will continue with a look at the Autobot minicar, Huffer, here on KREED'S Collection. Hey, welcome back to another episode of KREED'S Collection. Today we're looking at Huffer from the 1984 toy line Transformers by Hasbro. Huffer is the cynical, hard-boiled, pessimistic construction engineer of the Autobots. His superior mathematics skills allow him to build things even he doesn't think are possible. Huffer's truck mode is simply listed as semi-truck cab, although some sources claim that he is based on a Volvo FH Globetrotter. And now that we know a little bit more about Huffer, let's go ahead and take a closer look at his vehicle mode. So Huffer's truck mode, I feel like, is pretty superior to his robot mode. I actually kind of like how it looks. It's got that construction orange feel to it, and I like the pipe sticking off the back. I noticed for the first time that Huffer's hubcaps are pretty similar to Windcharger's, a nice little extra level of detail. Unfortunately, he has the same plastic tires that provide no grip, so he really doesn't roll, he kind of just slides around. And he's held up pretty well. He's got a little bit of paint wear on his smokestacks and a little bit of paint wear on the front of his grille here, but beyond that, he looks great. Now you'll probably notice that on the top of the cab there's a black sticker, and that is actually a rub sticker, something I haven't covered in Transformers yet, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. The sticker is heat activated, and you place your finger on top of it to reveal their affiliation. The first wave of Transformers figures didn't have this sticker since they were shipped over from Japan, but the second wave United States produced figures did have the rub sticker. And basically you put your finger on it, take it away, and there you go. He is an Autobot. So if you ever hear anybody saying pre and post rub Transformers, now you know what they mean. Alright, it's time to go ahead and transform Huffer into robot mode. First thing you want to do is take the cab and carefully flip it forward. Once you do that, I usually go ahead and flip it around and push it into place like so. That makes his head where it's supposed to be. Now you just grab his legs, pull down, and they'll snap into place. Take his arms, pull out, and then flip them up. And there you go. There's robot mode, Huffer. One of the first things you'll probably notice about Huffer is that technically he doesn't have hands. The smokestacks make his arms and his hands. Whereas in the comic book version, his hands looked more like claws, but in the cartoon version, they just straight up look like normal hands. That was one thing you had to deal with Transformers, was the fact that the toy, the cartoon, and the comic book version pretty much all looked different. More examples of this are present when you get closer to his face. I really like his head sculpt for the toy, but the cartoon version actually had a mouth and a nose as well as two eyes. Of the two, I have to say I prefer this version better. I think he looks a little more menacing, which I guess isn't great for an Autobot, but I still like it. His stickers have held up really well, and if you exclude the paint wear on his smokestacks and his grille, he actually looks really fantastic. My only real complaints with Huffer are the fact that he doesn't have hands, and he lacks articulation, but we'll get into that in a second. Now on the back side of Huffer, you can actually see his copyright information there on his lower back. And I find these dates fascinating. Of course, he was made by Takara, we established that in the opening, but 1974 and 1983? So does that mean this toy was first produced in Japan in 1974? That's crazy. Before we go any further, I just want to address his name, Huffer. That is an unfortunate name. I mean, it suggests to me that he's got some kind of problem.
Huffer. Several of the Autobots are claiming that you have an energon addiction. Is this true?
I'm fine, Prime. I can quit whenever I want.
Let us help you, Huffer. Remember, united we stand, divided we fall.
I said I can quit whenever I want. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Huffer's lack of articulation. Basically, you can move this arm up and down, and you can move his other arm up and down. And that's it. That is all of Huffer's 2 points of articulation. Here's a look at Huffer's file card. If you'd like to read it, pause now. While I was looking at Huffer's file card, I noticed something pretty awesome. On the back here, you can see the store that my parents bought it for me at. Ben Franklin, $3.47. What a deal. And now for our He-Man size comparison. Like the name Autobot minicar suggests, Huffer is quite small. But being a construction engineer, it is suggested that he is one of the strongest of all of the Autobots. So it might be pretty cool to see He-Man and Huffer have an arm wrestling match. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy review for Huffer from the 1984 toy line Transformers by Hasbro. Huffer was one of the very first Transformers I received as a child. I'm not sure exactly what number he was, but he was somewhere in the first 10. So while he may not be the best looking Transformer ever, he still has a very special place in my heart, being one of my first. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it, and it would help my channel grow. I review a toy from my vintage collection every Wednesday, so I hope to see you next week and every week after, here on KREED'S Collection.